Welcome to this Windows channel, and this is the Tech News Update. We are Friday, September 15th, 2017. And today in our Tech News Update, we have IBM that actually conducted a study in Europe that says that 65% of people experience buffering when streaming video, and that they really want to have a better video playback experience on the web. And this study is, of course, IBM is that background company that we don't really hear anymore, really what they're doing. But part of that study is to, of course, and talk a little bit about how their technologies can also enhance and help on the web. In other news, we have Facebook that wants to make sure of the integrity of elections. After what happened after the reports of ads that were served by Facebook for the US elections that could have influenced, Facebook wants to actually do the opposite, kind of help out to make sure that the elections are going well. And because of one little thing here in Canada, apparently that the Canadian spy agencies are saying that spies are trying to influence Canadian results. Facebook said that Canada will be the first country that it will be testing this feature and making sure that the Canadian elections go well and are not interfered with. So that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Well, the Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a tumble because it has two countries that are not really sure. There's more and more of a link, actually an increased risk that China would be banning the cryptocurrency at the end of the month. Reason why? It's used by bad guys. Then the other country that's not really sure and was wondering what to do with the Bitcoin is India, that is looking at what will they do with cryptocurrency. Do they want to accept it, or they'll say nope, you can't use it here. And of course, countries that are now saying that they're not going to use it are of course making the value of the Bitcoin go down a little bit. So let's hope that it's going to be actually interesting to see if any more countries, will add themselves to the no Bitcoin rule. Now, of course, one of the biggest problems with this is that you can still buy Bitcoins online. So it's like, it's a ban that's kind of complex here. Well, HP is at it again. Yep, HP last year in 2016, they had pushed a update to their drivers that would actually detect third-party inks and say that your printer couldn't print because of them. Now they've pushed a firmware to some of their new printers where it says simply, one or more cartridges seem to be defective. Please replace them. And it seems that, of course, the defective cartridge are always third-party ones. So, of course, we'll see what's going to happen with this. But in 2016, they had actually reversed the decision because there were so many complaints that HP just didn't want to take the risk. And now it seems they're doing it again. Google is being sued by an ex-female employee. She says that the company has high discrimination and that the pay discrimination is a major issue at Google. So she, of course, is suing Google. And also, she's thinking of a class action lawsuit for all female employees and ex-employees that might not have been treated correctly. So this is not the first time we hear this. It's going to be interesting to see if Google does really have that type of practice internally. But it's kind of interesting because Google does pride itself on being, one of the companies that's probably the most fair in the world in all sorts of matters. So I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen with that. Well, advertisers are kind of mad at Apple right now, as the new version of Safari will introduce the ITP, something called Intelligent Tracking Prevention. And the latest version of Safari on mobile and on PC, they say that the tracking restriction will actually make it a little more complicated to basically track you to give you ads. And the ad industry says it's going to hurt their model. So this is interesting. I do think there is a form of tracking restriction that needs to be done, because there's way too much tracking now going on. But there's probably some middle point where we can actually accept a little bit of tracking. But I think advertisers are going a little way too far here. And finally, the first scammers are starting to show up in the Equifax data leak. And basically, it turns out to be websites that are actually popping up online that are promising you to protect you for a fee. They also promise to check out for you if you are scammed or not. And of course, lots of promises for you to apparently stay safe and know everything. But in reality, they don't do anything. They're just there to, cash in on this data leak and trying to say that they can protect you while nothing can be done with these companies. So be careful, as more and more of these scams will of course appear online with the Equifax data leak. And this was the Tech News Update for Friday, September 15th, 2017. You enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, and thank you so much for following us on this channel.